Hello everyone, my name is Nicoy and this is Kentucky Route Zero.
Act 4, Scene 7, Echo River Central Exchange.
Thanks again for your help. It's about as far as a tugboat can go, you know, noise and lights to serve the bats. I usually send Will, but I thought you'd like the chance to meet Dashiell. He's the guy who worked at the TV station WEVP. So you'll pass through the Bat Sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff from cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's the operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Salmonitis for a scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's a kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of, I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Should we leave light off or light on? Probably light off if we're going through Bat Country. Are we actually going? I'm not sure what I'm clicking other than the light. Oh, hello. Maybe I should leave the light on. Might as well look at the sign. We claim these helmets in the name of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yield 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, as they swept through the hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them for us. So let this here be the marker for their grave. It's hard reading all caps text. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Yeah, we'll just leave them. Hey, Elkhorn, that's the mine we went in, where your folks worked. Looks like it's been here a while. Sure as hell wouldn't have messed with it. You think whoever wrote this is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that, or sure angry, mainly just hurt. You know, it's important to differentiate anger and hurt. Yeah, everyone's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you... It's fine, I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Or, it brings back some anger for me too. Or, the other miners made this, but should have been the power company. It's their fault. Yeah, we'll be positive. Well, here we are remembering. I didn't even know it the first time around, but I guess I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. Oh, my mouth is so dry. I really want to get a drink. But I sort of committed to myself to recording this entire act in one sitting, and I'm now slightly regretting it. But I want to kind of get it out of the way and then chop it up into videos later. Hello! I wonder if you can see him glowing. Nope. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Just sometimes I forget I don't even know you. Sometimes I forget I don't even really know you that well. Are you feeling okay? It's nothing. Yeah. Yeah, well, that makes two of us. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg. You know? Get it all together on a plan. Consolidated. What? When did you talk to him about that? That sounds like a really bad idea. Hey, find her. Maybe Weaver could get you out of this thing with the distillery. She has some experience with them. Yeah, sure. Oh, sure, it could be. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery, even for me. Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet I could just take off the parking brake and that truck would roll into Five Dogwood Drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lysette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Lyse got into her that maybe he would have wanted me to have that truck someday, maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. I barely know you. That's fairly generous, but I don't need a truck. Sure, I keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure, okay, sounds good. Let's pick positive options. Turn that light back on. Hey, it's a sign. Visitors the Echo River, Kentucky tomb bat artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. That's a real thing and it is killing bats. Please be very careful around areas where bats roost. Google it if you need more information. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave or known suspected host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you don't bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. Kentucky tomb bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax, stop your vehicle, and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Well, I guess we're going to have to turn off the lights. You know, you'd think those guys would glow on their own. So let's make sure we don't scare any bats. This does look lovely. Yeah, that bat seemed fine. Those guys look a little confused. Let's turn the light off for a second. Yeah, they're fine. Now look at the bat thingies? Sure. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of the ultrasonic clicks by comparing subtle differences in time, blah blah blah, millionths of a second, etc. They echolocate. Once a bat is caught in insect, it's still flying around, blah blah blah, it keeps clicking. Blah blah blah. Surviving. I wonder how the other bats know whether one is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think they're actually communicating. It sounds more like... I think where they're actually communicating sounds more like singing. Something that's hard to know with people, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like, how about this weather? I guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language, hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly or angry or drunk. You have to say this this act is longer than I thought it'd be, and I'm kind of glad because it took them a bloody long time to actually make it. I can turn that off for a second. And kind of not glad because I told myself I'd do this in one sitting. Damn, it's really dark down here. Are you still there? Sorry, just thinking. Just thinking. Yeah, it's a reflective kind of place. You're that kind of person, which I think you are. What are you thinking about? Bats? Weaver? Nothing. Let's not think about Weaver too much. Yeah, hard not to, huh? I was just thinking about my dad. I guess because we were talking about your folks a minute ago. To be honest with you, I don't think about him that often. Your cousin brought him up earlier, and he's just been on my mind. It's good you folks have a memorial. A lot of people, nobody remembers them when they're gone. You mean like your dad? You mean like you? Ooh, let's not get morbid. Oh no, he would have hated that. I don't know what I mean. Haha. Oops. Turn that back on. I think the bat should be fine. The Kentucky Tomb's bat natural diet consists mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic gourds to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the Kentucky tomb bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has been found in other food source. Not so! We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the Kentucky tomb bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer from the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River and the shores of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect the precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the caves. It's a full-time job, and one I'm glad I do not have. Sounds like a lot of work. They eat fake moths? I wonder how these bats would feel about their guano being taken like that. It's all fake, except for the bats. Haha, maybe it's better they don't know. Like bat plumbing. I mean, you never think about it when it grows, do you? Right, it's reassuring to know someone's taking care of everything for these little bats. Kind of bothers me, like they're tricking the bats. Yeah, I think it's reassuring. Yeah, he was going to build a people hibernaculum. Maybe we'll build it ourselves. Maybe we already did. Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. Feels cluttered, but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. Sure, people can, but what about bats? Or you get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Let's not mention drinking. Maybe we'll have to teach him. Hell, what am I saying? I know about 100% more on the subject of bats than I did when I came down here. Hey, an umbrella. A very stripy tree. This scene is putting me to sleep in a way. Okay, the bats are getting excited. Better hang on a minute. It feels like one kind of hovering right over me. They don't really hover though, do they? I mean, how could they? I guess a hummingbird will hover by beating his wings really fast. Maybe they can do that too. I used to watch hummingbirds in the afternoon at the kitchen window. Lysette's kid Charlie, he loved them, you know. He studied aviation. He set up a bunch of hummingbird feeders that last summer he was home. Big sugar water buffet, but those dumb birds didn't find it till he was gone. Anyway, me and Lyse, sometimes we'd try to see one of them up close. You get up to the window and then you have to stand totally still for a while, like you're one of those wax sculptures. Don't even move your eyes. Like this. Oh, you can't see me. I was doing the watching hummingbirds close-up face. I think I can imagine it. I feel like we're talking on the phone or something. Yeah, you've seen it already. It's my driving face, too. Lyse told me that once and now I can't... Lyse told me that once, and now I can't ever help but think of it. When I'm driving or when I see a hummingbird. Haha. Hey, who were you talking about to earlier? When we met in the mine, you were on the phone with someone. I forgot about that. My ex? Just a friend. Alejandra Mark. Ooh, that sounds like a nice name. We met in school and we're still pretty close, or she has kids now and we don't talk as much. Let's be positive. I was just venting on the phone about my landlord situation. She called me to chat about something. I was preoccupied with my landlord trouble, and I did my best to listen, but I was distracted. I think it was kind of rude, actually, in a hurry to get into mines. I feel bad. Sure. It gets harder and harder to reconnect. I actually hate talking on I hate talking on the phone, too. Yeah, I try not to use it. I like to see someone's hands when they talk. Most people never learn how to lie with their hands, so anything you see there you can pretty much take for the truth. Well, I guess I could see why it took them a year and a half to make this episode. Was it a year and a half? Longer? 2 years? Holy shit, I can't even remember the last time I played this game. I wonder what would happen if we just floated past the sign, if that's the thing that happens. I guess we can float past the sign. Well, now we know. But we'll never know what that sign said. The bats are getting a bit antsy again. Get guess you should get to more dialogue. This is an interesting mechanic. It's kind of like self-pacing. No dialogue? Alright then. Well, looks like we're through. Going to the phone company. A lovely archway. That is a curious way to build an office. Do I want to talk to Conway? Do I want to talk to Flora? Let's talk to Conway for a second. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. I'll be careful. You too, trying to make any more bad deals while... Oh, jeez. Be positive. I'll be careful. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, hi, I remember you. What are you doing down here? Do you know where the telephone exchange operator is? I don't know what that means. I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. Really? What does that mean to you? So am I think. I think I'm more classical myself. Sounds like the same thing to me. Okay, bye. Well, okay. Hey, Dashiell. I assume that's how you pronounce that name. Could bypass with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to the ground. Good advice. Huh, that's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself, so you do still work here. On the tugboat, they weren't totally sure. Oh, well, yeah, I'm here just about every night. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. Take some practice. Believe it or not, I'm coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true, they had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. What happened to the train station? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used the trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They're easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to climb anything these days. The closest I get is patching the wiring in the crystal room for the WVP folks. WPP is the TV station, right? Kate says you're the only one who can tell me where it is. The Crystal Room? Did you ever know a girl named Weaver? Let's go for Weaver. Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Let's leave that on. The plague. Oh, sorry, the plaque. Abel and Eloise, lovers' careers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and the travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where he left them. Aww. That is fucking adorable. Hey, puppy. Set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Consolidated Power Company, Laszlo Electronics. That's weird, there's no label on it. Ooh, I like mysteries. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from that secret admirer and not a snake from an assassin. Ooh. So, who are you? Did you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only asked because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashiell. I'm just doing Kate a favor, dropping off this package. Yeah. Kate, I love Kate. She helped deliver both my nieces, one in the hospital and one at the base of a mossy moonlit oak. It was beautiful. I love Kate. I think Loretta's granddaughter used her too. Oh, Loretta used to work here. Actually, I think quite a few of our former operators have relied some time on Kate's services. Well, now I guess we'll have more time with their little ones. As you can see, all their chairs are empty. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Ed, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming. I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many as operators we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing! They started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening, and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw writing on a wall and quickly found employment at private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko, and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they need to upgrade their electricity plant. At least they were still on the phone. And then it was just Literate, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room and sipping the thermos full of hot honey raw stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of the extended technique to my switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. He's got the voltage too high, he'll burn out the relay. Be positive. So, where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It's all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible. It's very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and the place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There's still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And, it really is all about that touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over the decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they just have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work dwells, I'd like to remind you. They have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switches on. My little indicator lights switch on, and I make the connection. Interesting. What's the machine like? Oh, it's funny. I've never actually seen it. They told me just to carry on patching while it collects and collates in the background until it's ready to take over. That's a dark thought. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? You're not a machine. Nice of you to notice. Haha. I'm more in the Echo River Central Exchange. Burping again. And I'll carry a torch for the voice with a smile. But at least I'm keeping some part of it human, right? Even if it's not the best part. Oh, the parcel right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Oh, I see what they did there. Oh, dear. Let's follow the skeletons, guys. They seem to be up to no good. Huh. Alright. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottom skiff. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. She met a flower salesman on a raft. She met a painter of shipwrecks. Floating bicycle sounds fun. He said they took turns. The water was cold and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that a dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it occasionally, free it from rockers and driftwood it caught on. She asked if he had a guitar in the case or just clothes. She invited him to ride aways on the dinghy. Yeah, let's invite him to ride away. He appreciated the offer, but they weren't in a hurry. Alright. Discover a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs. His painting would be divided into 2 categories. There were ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source of these because its current was so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered those in the oil paint, by lamplight, working for hours and cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Man, doing oil from life, that's pretty intense. Then there were the ones he painted from memory, mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter when the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. Those were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it. Though it was so unpredictable and he was focused on the details, he usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. Well, I guess we're meeting the flat-bottom skiff now. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car and then the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached Western Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about river journey. On our way to Salmonidas. Total Memorial. Yeah. They brought some food. The kids had picked the garden clean earlier in the day, so they'd been snacking on fresh bell peppers and tomatoes and some crackers, rationed carefully for the trip. They wished her well and paddled towards West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving, a moment of silence. I do enjoy silence now and then. And speaking of silence, I hope you enjoy a little bit while you're waiting for my next video. So hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you then.